Hello everyone, and welcome to D&D with WhatTeamComp. Once again, running through Cormundum Chaos, I am your host, the Uncommon Guru, our Chaotic DM. Back at it once again with our good friends. We have, of course, Zarkwarts, who is playing as Aurelius, our Paladin Fighter Human.
I'm currently installing GTA 5 to mod it again.
You'll be fine. We have Mary, who is playing as Genevieve, aka Fidget. Currently, they are a bard tiefling, who is actually Vanity, my apologies. But they usually play as Genevieve, aka Fidget, our human fighter warlock.
That is me.
Yes. We have Paris.
Mary the warlock, formerly known as Genevieve.
I'm everything.
Paris, who's playing as Serenity, the barbarian Azmar.
Heyo!
We have Kendall, who's playing as Artemis, our artificer wizard half-elf.
Hello.
I don't know why I mixed classes and races from the way that I usually do it, but don't look at me. I'm just
Spice. You do it for the spice.
It's for the spice. Spice of life. But are we all ready?
Yes.
Spice your talkies.
I actually made a chili oil today, but that's not the point.
Does being ready involve pants?
No.
No.
Unfortunately, I have to
I'm
wear.
ready.
I mean, you have a plumber over at right now. You have to wear pants. The rest of us can just, ignore that. But I can't because of the fact that it's currently 32 degrees.
That's
Freeze, bitch!
Shall I
Sorry,
change it?
Go ahead.
You said 32 degrees, and I'm just thinking, that's an Australian summer.
Fahrenheit.
Like 16 Celsius, something like that.
Actually, 32 is around freezing point, so it'd probably be 0.
Please hold.
Down to Google opening.
Yeah, pretty much dead on 0 degrees.
Yep.
Well done.
While you're doing that,
I know how Celsius works because it makes more sense than Fahrenheit.
it depends on who you ask. But,
See?
hush. When last we left off, at the request of the dragon, of Dragonsby, you've gone to investigate. Lerlanis. You've gone to investigate where the cult is almost certainly hiding out. A small part of the forest, in what appears to be some kind of underground facility, for lack of better terms. One that requires some odd device. Don't worry, I sometimes struggle with her name as well. She's wonderful, though. I love playing as her. But that requires a strange lantern that helps to dissipate scents as it's moved through the current area, which has allowed you to progress deeper in and come across a room whereupon you see a corpse pinned to a wall with fungi growing all throughout them. And you have just recently disarmed a trap that allows you to more closely look at a small statue of Zugtamoy. When we very last left off, you'd heard the sound of something shuffling, something moving, and as Serenity had Bean poke his little teeny head around the corner to take a peek, you saw
why?
You saw a
Sorry.
zombified figure, no eyes, fungus growing out of it, moving jerkily as though it's being puppeted by something that doesn't fully comprehend how a human 100% is supposed to walk, but basically following an instruction book that's close enough to get it to actually move. It lifts its head, and there's like a moment where you almost think it's like it's performing some action. You're not sure if it's almost breathing, or it's, you're not certain, but part of it, the fungi seems to split open and kind of like shift back and forth ever so slightly, almost like it's vibrating faintly. What do you do?
So, Serenity basically makes Bean Bean come back, switches the connection, goes, zombie, 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 ugly zombie.
Okay. To re-describe the room, you were in a room. You did have to open the door when you came in. There doesn't appear to be many things that would be fully usable outside of the pieces of broken wood, which would just be projectiles and the like. I'll let you all discuss. Ugly zombie, that's what you know. POV, you're in a room. Yes, you're in a room. There's the bits of wood, the body, obviously, the door, and a zombie is down the hall. It hasn't come towards you as far as you can tell, but you don't know how quickly that will change.
How good are you guys about sneaking?
I'm pretty sneaky.
Serenity has, like, you can tell she's trying not to smile in the most, are you serious? Fucking expression. Before she just gestures down to herself.
Aurelius kind of just, like, I like to think that before Vanity says, how good are you guys at sneaking, he's already, like, started to reach for his sword, and as he's about to draw it, that's when they say that, and halfway through the motion he just stops himself, looks at Vanity, and then looks around the room. I can barely see anything as it is.
I thought I cast light on you.
You did.
Get it now! My cat is desperately trying to get to my pizza slices. Get off!
So you do have light on you.
Outside of the light, you really can't see much. So, it's not incorrect. Just, at the very least, see the things in this room. Which is something.
But even then... Wait, did you say light on? Or, like, as in Aurelius is glowing?
No. She has on,
okay.
like, I think it was your weapon?
Something about him. I don't think
Might have been your
it's not
pommel.
Aurelius himself.
What was it, Serenity?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Where did you cast light?
I think she cast it on his sword?
Okay. So it's like on your pommel.
Okay. In that case, Aurelius kind of says, I'm kind of not in a position to do stealth.
Yeah, well, it is at least something that I wanted to voice. And he's saying this as he's pulling a rapier from his hip. And you watch as this rapier, when he first pulls it out, it looks very normal before a black kind of mist forms around it. And he kind of goes, I can fight if necessary.
Hold on. Arcana check that motherfucker.
Sure.
Damn, that's a sword of all time.
Man, that sword is got some like flakes coming off of it. You know it is magic in some respect, that there's something about it that is magical. It's not something you're familiar with in a way that you're like, okay, I know what that is. You're like, it's definitely magical.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Did, when Bean Bean checked out, outside in the hall, were there lights or fires on the wall or anything?
There were not.
Okay.
you do start to hear the sound of something moving towards where you all are.
I'll say that Aurelius is preparing himself with the sword extended into the spear
Mm-hmm. As
to
you
keep
do
it
so,
at a distance.
okay, so as you do so, you take the weapon, and there's a distinct kind of sound of it extending, and you hear a, like almost like this kind of rasp, this, and you hear the sound of the shuffling stop for just a second.
Vanity turns and is staring at Aurelius.
I'm not in the position for stealth. What do you want from me? The pommel's still glowing.
He can't even say anything. He just shakes his head and turns back towards the door.
After another moment, you hear thoop, 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 thoop. As you watch as this zombie kind of moves into view. You can again see it is covered in fungi. Bits of its normal humanoid body have been replaced and are helping to almost articulate points that would otherwise be non-functional. Mouth is like opening and closing in a way where it's almost following old instincts rather than doing anything actually usable. Eyes, again, just completely full of fungus as it just kind of moves towards where the door is, moves past it, just walks right past the door, and gets to a point where like stops and seems to, and you hear that kind of that raspy, and you hear that kind of that faint buzzing sound. A moment passes. Do any of you do anything? Or do you remain still?
Vanity would like to try and peek out the door a bit.
Stealth check.
And yeah.
Artemis would also like to do that.
Likewise.
I'll
Ew.
just say that Aurelius is
I'm using
Trying-
my inspiration for this, sorry.
Go ahead.
Aurelius is just trying to stay out of the way of the path.
Okay.
I'm
But
also
the
using my inspiration for this.
Fair. Okay.
That the creature looks like it's traveling on.
All right. Fair enough. Right now, you and Serenity are just kind of staying where you are. Paris is BRB, so she's staying where she is. So,
She doesn't have a choice.
yes, Artemis and Vanity, you both move over and you again kind of do the little whoop, whoop, leaning out the door, head over head. As you look, you see this zombie is still close, but it's shifting from its head from side to side. It's also shifting like its entire spine. Again, opening up these like little bits of mushroom, like little openings as it seems to have, again, vibrate, and as it kind of has that raspy sound, you realize it's not breathing. It's almost vibrating it, almost like it's listening.
Vanity will look down at Artemis and very, very softly ask, "Can you run?"
Yes.
He'll turn back around and ask the same thing to Aurelius, knowing Serenity can too, but since Paris isn't here, I'm not going to say anything to her. "Can you run?"
Aurelius will nod, but he's also looking around to see if there's anything he can potentially throw to lure the creature further away from them before they make their exit. But
Pieces of wood.
Can Vanity do something before Aurelius does anything?
he's not
What-
gonna do it. He's just looking for it.
What are you thinking?
Vanity kind of gives a, well, it is obvious we are not going to be able to stealth out of here. And his hand goes out the door as his head goes back around the corner and casts hold person on the zombie.
Okay.
Really, has never seen this shit before.
Artemis looks like she was about to say something, but then just stops when she sees Vanity do that.
How does your magic look, or how does it feel?
There is, because of a talk that Vanity had with Artemis last session, as he casts the magic out, there is just a breeze that washes over him and Artemis. It just moves the hair just a little bit, which is odd because they're underground at the moment, as this kind of deep purple mist kind of flows from his hand out towards the zombie.
The mist kind of like slides into different parts of it, like getting all up inside of it, and it still has that vibrating, but almost seems to be like actively choking on it. It's like kind of like it's like puts its hand like inside of it as though it's like trying to find what is causing the problem before it like gets to a position where it just kind of locks up. It's just kind of like just kind of stuck
Whatever
there.
Whatever you wish to do, Adi. Or well, shall we run?
Are there more?
Can we hear any more besides this one?
With the one making as much noise as it is, it's hard to tell. Already, you were paying attention before. If this one is here, it might have come up from lower, in which case you have to go lower, in which case you would be moving towards them regardless. But at the moment, it appears this is the only one.
Artemis is going to take the statue and is like, yeah, let's run.
With his sword still in hand, he just looks over his shoulder and going, "We're running!" and just kind of runs with Artie.
You coming, Aurelius?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Aurelius will act as a backline as soon as everyone else is, like, definitely started moving. He'll start running himself.
Okay. Did you guys make a quick
Fucking
scuttle?
soldier ass behavior.
Nah, I get you. So you make a quick
That's
little.
right.
Oh,
And
good.
Artemis is tugging Serenity along.
Of course. So you make a quick little scuttle, running down the hallway, and then quickly turning and seeing where there is a staircase going down, allowing you to continue making your way into this building. I imagine you try and take a few quick peeks into a few other rooms, and for the most part, a lot of the other rooms have not the statue, but a few other different similar sort of motifs where there's a person on an altar and fungus and rot coming out of them.
Okay.
What would it be to look into the purpose of this?
I'd say at the moment we'll get probably into that in the next floor. The visual
Okay.
purpose of it, just looking quickly, you'll need some time to process.
All right.
Good question, though.
Artie
Keep that
also
in
took
mind.
a step back.
No worries.
Artie also took a BRB.
Yeah, no worries. We'll take a quick moment to just kind of pause and let them BRB real quick.
But yeah, while you were talking, I was over here scrolling through all of Vanity's spells going, let's do something. Do you want to take a guess why I was asking about fire?
Why?
Pyrotechnics.
You know what? That's fair. You want to know what
Give us cloud cover.
Right. You know what else?
I'm back.
Welcome back. You know what else technically the pyrotechnics could do? Set off a loud bang to get the creature to follow.
Yeah, it was just one of those things like I had options.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's no fire. Old person.
Yep.
I
So-
have options. Sorry, I
Yes.
don't know why that popped in my head that way, but
But no, so just so you know, Paris, Vanity cast Hold Person on the zombie and we're running.
wait, that works?
I'll allow you to process
Compliment me.
that, Paris. Either I'm
Hold-
allowing hold person to work different than it says in the book, or other things happen. The fact that I'm not going to tell you means that I can let your brain go wild.
It's always worse when you let the person try to figure it out themselves and telling you.
I don't like you, because both one is just fine, the DM's enjoying it. The other one is so much more fucking nefarious. I don't like it.
Yeah.
What do you have the sticky fingers for?
She took
She
the,
took the
item.
statue.
Yeah.
Oh, you. Oh, God.
The trap had been disarmed.
But we don't know if there's something that might trigger when it passes. Well, it's not magical, so okay.
It's not magical. It's completely mundane. You already had
I'm
checked
sorry,
out.
I'm-
Yep.
That said, I remember last session something about Serenity being like, "Do not touch it."
Yes.
Artemis
Oh.
immediately.
I'm not touching it.
No, what it was Aurelius going, now you said that we specifically could not touch it. You cannot touch it with any weapon, object, or any other fucking magical ability that you might have to try and touch it.
You had to say that because Vanity cast Mage Hand.
Yes.
Exactly. She has two magicians. One she knows is going to look through every loophole, and then she has Aurelius.
Yes.
That and also like you said it to Artemis as well, and she proceeded to immediately grab it and run.
Well, being fair, this is after the trap was disarmed. It was like, we're running. Grabs it. Sticky fingers.
Well,
Yeah,
It helped
Yeah.
that Vanity cut the string and
Yes.
Serenity's over there going, "Told you! I told you!"
You can tell me more
That was
about
funny.
it.
Cut the string.
I apologize
Welcome
for
back.
nothing.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wonderful.
I don't need you to apologize for anything. I just find it hilarious that like 30 seconds later, Artemis is like, "Yeah, fuck your rules. I'm taking this fucking."
I'm gonna
Yoink.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I was 100% expecting her to do that at some point.
Oh yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
all did.
Look, you know Serenity expects it. She knows it's gonna happen. She is allowed to have wishful thinking.
She's allowed to postpone it as long as she can.
Called denial. Let her live.
That being said, you guys make your way down this next flight of stairs. And as you're going through, the place is odd.
Oh, you guys are fucking madmen.
Correct. There are more doors and such, but you also see that there's etchings into the walls as you're moving past. You can't read any of them because you're moving at a quick pace. After a bit, you do hear kind of this. You feel the spell loosen Vanity,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear kind of like this, almost like this very distant whistle, and you hear the sound of like something moving, and then you hear like little bang. Based off of sound alone, I'd say Artemis, you probably have the best chance of figuring it out just because of your high perception. It sounds like the creature heard you run off, but was held in place, was finally let loose, screeched, turned to follow you, ran straight into a wall, and probably scuttled off somewhere else.
I thought it fell down a flight of stairs like an idiot.
That'd have been funny.
Vanity just sighs, going, "Well, it was good while it lasted."
It does not appear that it
Well,
is
it's not
following
following
you.
us anymore.
Yes. Which means you guys have another moment to breathe.
I do believe the term is percussive maintenance, and it just gave it. So,
Because of maintenance.
As you're saying that, you kind of take a moment to look around. You look over, and you can see this strong stone corner holding up the ceiling and whatnot, like you would expect to be. But as you look past it, you see that there is, from floor to ceiling, shattered or just deeply fractured glass just a wall of glass that's either fractured or shattered. And as you kind of Well,
May I roll an investigation?
you may. Let me finish describing the room so you can know what you don't need to investigate for.
Sorry.
No worries. As Aurelius moves a little closer, specifically you, because you shed light into the room. So it becomes less of a case of seeing the outlines of things and seeing more the actual state of things. This room looks to almost be almost like it looks like has the feeling and look of like a war room with like a big table and a lot of different like pieces that look like they would be maps, but it's a lot of maps. As you step in and whatnot, you can hear the faint crunch of glass under your feet, but as you look down, you kind of look around, you see that there are a few areas where the glass has been swept to the side. Someone else has been here before. And as you kind of move throughout the area, you can make an investigation check. Right now, the main things that you see are a big table in the center of the room with a lot of different papers on it, a couple different chairs. Some of them are actually at the table. With a 17, as you're kind of looking around, you do note that there is something on the wall. And it looks, as you kind of look it over, you realize someone has been attempting, you wouldn't say in vain, but there definitely is an attempt versus actuality of someone who is attempting to trace faded words on the wall. Someone was writing something on the wall. Artemis, as you're looking around, do you look more at the table or at the walls?
It looks like Aurelius is looking at the wall, so she's looking at the table.
Okay. Looking at the table, there's several pieces of paper that seem to all be attempting to work off a couple of papers in the center. As you're looking around, you see very easily accessible is a ring of brass around a piece of glass. It's effectively a handheld magnifying glass.
Is there anything tied to it that will keep me from taking it?
You look over, you kind of gently pick it up and very quickly look around. This is not tied to it. It is just here. But as you're looking at where it is, as you're looking at where it is, you realize it's on a piece of paper that it's faded, not to the point of 100% illegibility, but very distinctly faded and old. It is very old. And it's kind of
when you
look over it real quick.
Yeah, Artemis is going to use the magnifying thing to read it.
Yep. You can't read it fully, but you can kind of slowly look around it and kind of get the image that this is a map. And then you kind of look over and you see one of the other papers that's just been off to the side that has, not freshly, but recently, probably within the last few days, dried ink of someone who is apparently copying from this map here onto a second paper, making a copy of the map. You had a question, Zark?
Can I take both?
You can. I'm going to have more to tell you in a second, but go ahead, Zark, real quick.
You said writings on the wall. I need to clarify.
In Abyssal.
Are they actually... No, not that.
Clarifying that.
I needed to I mean, that helps, but I want to clarify that they're written and not carved.
The clear words that you can read are carved, but they appear to be carved in an attempt to better read what was written.
Okay.
And it looks like there's a few papers at the base of the wall that looks like there are different bits of writing that is attempting to not translate, trying to figure out what was written, because it is not smudged, it is not dampened in any way, but it is faded enough that they apparently are struggling to figure out what exactly words were meant to be put on there.
Can I roll an Arcana?
You can. Do you have
Oh my lord.
what was it that you were wanting to know arcana wise? Just general
What?
logistics?
Effectively, if it's in Abyssal, they probably have two meanings. They have the initial meaning and then the casting meaning. He's trying to figure out.
It's not magical as
what
the thing, but it is related to magic. The relation. It appears that the writings on the floor appear to be trying to not figure out what is written fully and how to replicate it, but how to invert it.
An inversion spell. Or like.
And as you kind of look it over with your natural 20, you kind of see what was already written, and the first bits of it make a bit of sense, but as you keep reading, you start to think. You look at what's on the floor, you kind of look through some of the quick notes on the ground, look back to the wall. Whatever was written on this wall was someone writing attempts, possibly success, of sealing Zugtamoy in the abyss from halting her influence.
Aurelius's eyes widen. This place wasn't a place of worship of Zugtamoy. Not originally. They were trying to seal her in. A cage. He turns around, and this is an inversion of that, which means someone's trying to unlock the key.
Meanwhile, Artemis, you look over the map, I would imagine. The one you can more clearly, legibly see, I would imagine, yes?
Yes.
Something's weird about it. You can
That's weird.
you can distinctly see on the paper you have looks to be direct copy, and then you look and you see another copy, you kind of move over, you pick it up, and you look at it. This one looks to be a lot of like questions, conjectures. Someone had copied the copy and then was like, hold on, let me write this in. One of the first things you see that kind of stands out to you is Serpentine Pass ? Wave break ? Danziel ? It's just all these little notes, like it's clear that they were trying to figure something out. As you take that and then you look back at the other map, you can kind of see it. There's an area where you can see the Serpentine Pass. You can see where Highwatch would be. You can see where Forge Steading would be. You can see where you would be, Dragonsby, right here, but it's not called that. The Cracked Islands are not cracked. There is a
This map is old.
It appears to describe it as the floating isle, indicating that whatever would have been in this area was once a flying structure, or that they saw it and they believed that it looked like it was floating, something to that effect at least. But there's a few other points on the maps where it is showing things that were flying. You can see where it describes areas with little bits like the topography, little dashes and such, but it's saying that the forest that you are near used to be hills. That the mountains of Highwatch used to be part of a valley. And as you look it over on the third copy, the one with all the questions and conjecture, there's a big number of arrows pointing around one section. And then a second. On this map, there are no colossi walks.
Does this look like these spaces that have been marked are future colossi walks?
Where whoever was looking this over is marking it, they look like they were marking where the colossi walk currently is. The colossi walk on this map doesn't exist.
Does this map have a signature on it?
It does, actually.
Like the one that was being copied?
Yes. 1 second. Paris, catching you back up. Aurelius was looking over the wall, and with his natural 20 Arcana check, he realized that the notes on the ground were trying to reverse figure out...
That I was here for.
I'm making sure.
No. I'm letting you know. That I was here for.
Yeah.
I came back to the Colossus path not being one that exists.
Yes. So there's more. There's 3 maps. Whoop. The first map, which is the faded one that they're trying to transcribe off of. The second map, which is just a direct 1-to-1 copy. And then a third one that is a 1-to-1 copy of the first one as well, but has a lot more question marks and writing in names and such. Like Serpentine Pass, question mark? As if to ask if the Serpentine Pass is in this area. The Cracked Islands are the floating isle. One massive area. It's not cracked, it is on that map, shows one solid landmass. It shows that the forest that you're next to has little, like, the topography map marks of hills instead of a forest. It shows that Highwatch, instead of being this tall mountain, is a valley. Molten Hold, instead of being rolling hills, is mountainous. And on it, in showing where it should be, but marking with question marks saying, where is it? There are no indications of the Colossi walks.
And this is what Artemis is seeing.
What the fuck?
The E. Signature?
The signature? Pull up the name real quick. It's a strange name, Doc Thaler. Although, it might be Doc Thalar. They don't write it with a space.
Spell that?
I did. It's in the chat.
You write down. Thank you.
No worries. I figured you would want to read it.
Do I recognize it?
You do not. Actually, no. You don't recognize it per se. You know, at least you've heard of the Thaler family. They're a Furbolg family. They're known for making sea maps, mostly nowadays. At least down Danziel they are. Although they have been known to go to different places and give surveys of areas to give them maps of their homes and such. Some great map makers, fantastic people. At least, that's what you've heard. Most of them tend to run with a little bit run on the wild side, we'll say.
Artemis will, like, note down the name, but she'll look up when Aurelia starts talking. They're trying to unlock her.
Sorry?
She's responding to what Aurelia said.
Sorry, my partner.
Hi, Baba.
Yeah. So Aurelius basically goes, these people were. This wasn't a place of worship for Zakmoy. This was a. These people were trying to seal her, keep her locked in a cage, and this is an inversion of that, which means they're trying to unlock the cage.
Vanity and Serenity. What sort of things do you feel your characters are doing? Are you just watching what they're doing, trying to wait for them to give you cues, or do you feel that they'd also be poking around at things?
I'm trying to decide what else Vanity would want to look at.
There's more papers on the table. Not all of them look like they're directly one-to-one matching with what Artemis has found. There are more markings. You go.
I'll investigate the papers.
Okay, go ahead and roll investigation. Serenity.
Sorry, it was muted. Serenity's probably looking around more as a lookout to see if maybe there might be something hidden in here that could alert others to their presence or anything like that, because...
Perception check. Yeah.
You don't want to deal with more zombies!
Fair. So, Vanity, while Serenity is looking around with very good eyes, currently nothing's working against you on that. With your investigation check, you look over, you pull up a paper, kind of look it over, pull up another paper, look it over. You know there's different markings, different areas where they seem to be marking things that are intended possibly to be floating cities and the like, or other such wonders. There's also markings around the edge that indicate some kind of arcane scrolling around the edges, but it's whatever magic was used on these papers has faded and is not functioning as it once was. As you get to one, though, you do note a few things on the one that you're looking at. Mm-hmm. There are 7 points that appear to be marked and look like someone after the fact, like you would presume based off the coloring, nicked themselves and circled each of them in blood.
Probably always got to be freaky.
That's definitely got his attention. He'll just kind of go. He'll frown and just go, blood. Why would you use fucking blood? As he's looking at it more.
I just imagine just from nearby, it's common in demon rituals. Usually.
Very common.
Artemis will speak up. Blood for the blood god.
No.
No! 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 I will get your harness.
Aurelius literally...
Promise?
She kind of...
You weren't done, hun?
Sorry.
You're fine. Sorry, I heard that.
Like glaring at Artemis.
Right. One of the locations, as you look at the map and then you look at a second one to verify, does stand out a little bit at least. It's this location, or at the very least, Dragonsby. I'd say roll a history check.
History?
History,
okay.
Yeah. Most of the places are a little bit further away than you're used to. One of them is closer to Korovin. Another one's closer to Denziel. One of them you do actually recognize, though. That one's up towards the north. Which, as you look towards there, you realize as well, and you can motion with the paper you're holding towards Artie, as you realize there are no pits. The pits being entrances to the abyss or to the hells. And on this map, there aren't any markings indicating such. Which you can tell because one of the names that isn't changed is Ker Kaisur, which is circled.
If it helps, Just say it, Care Caesar.
Cater Caesar? I will forget, but I
Yeah.
will try.
Yeah.
So Vanity will kind of frown a little bit at the paper and turn to Artie, going, "There are no pits on my
There are no
papers.
Colossi walls.
Wait, there are no pits?
None of the pits to the abyss are here, yes."
Aurelius.
Is the same signature on those too?
When you move over to check the map that Vanity is looking at, that same person's signature.
Aurelius is kind of like walking over and looking it over. If he were to date this, it would have to be pre-recorded or modern history.
Effectively,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, roll a nature check.
Okay. Oh no. I'm not gonna re-roll that. I made my bed.
What the fuck was that Batman?
He said, "I made my bed."
No, I know what the fuck he said.
You can't distinctly tell.
But he would probably know Care Caesar. And he looks at that, and his eyes kind of narrow. Like, just how long have they been around?
Paris, do you look at these at all, or are you just still looking out?
I imagine she does look back every now and again. So probably, yeah, if she can do that while still looking out, I don't know.
You're listening at the same time.
Okay.
There, as you take a moment to kind of peek over and be like, well, they seem to be all, looking at this and whatnot. You look over and you kind of peek and look over real quick. You look away to check, and then you kind of have to do a double take, as one of these circle areas is familiar to you.
This you.
It's not marked the same, which is frustrating. But you've seen a map before. You've looked it over and you've utilized it before. And you are aware of where your order resides. And where your order resides looks like it is marked on this map. The one marked with the circle of red. Well, of blood.
This. You just hear her. She don't even think it. She said, "There's no fucking way."
You too?
Artemis will look over at look up at Aurelius, then back to the map. I am fairly sure these furbolgs that made this family of furbolgs that are photographers, they tend to run on the wilder side. They may tend to run in the Feywild.
How did you figure that they were Furbolg?
I know the family name. They work in Denzia.
So these cartographers, right? They're transcribing this ancient map.
They may have made it when it was new.
Just confirming, it's the ancient map that has the signature on it?
They
Or is
transcribed
the
it to
copy?
the new one.
Right.
They made
Okay.
a 1-to-1 copy.
Okay. He's looking it over and he's like, the pits aren't here, the walks aren't here, and yet Care Caesar is here. I thought the purpose of the vigilance was to he kind of has to step away.
One of these places is a church, by the way.
Where?
Point there. Well, Paladin order, but church nonetheless.
So that's 2 for 2 of orders that have been around.
It doesn't have your order's name on it, though.
Yeah.
It's the same area, but your order's name is not on it.
Aurelius is pretty sure that Care Sizer has basically been around as long as the Vigilants have been. Of course, he's not certain, but he's at this point. It's clear he's kind of like, has everything I've been told a lie?
Probably.
What are the true origins of how? I thought the Order was a defensive force against the pits, so that they wouldn't. Why would they exist before the pits? That doesn't make. Focus. Okay.
The place that
the markings that Serenity. The blood is around that. Why is it familiar? You say it's a church, but like, why is that?
Serenity BRB'd.
I'm sorry. No.
Bridget has talked about where she's from. Is that place where she's from also circled in blood?
There is a point slightly towards the more border of Cormundum and Corvin, but there is a point where there is a circle of blood.
Artemis will trace from that to Danziel, to where the Paladin Order Serenity was from. And is there one familiar to Aurelius? That one that he's having a crisis about?
Care Sizer, yeah.
Yeah.
But is that one marked in blood, or is that just
Kaiser is in blood. Yes, there's a circle around it in blood.
Aurelius
Are there any other places marked in blood?
Yes. Would you like me to put markers on the map for you to refer to later?
Yes. And I'll say for argument's sake that Aurelius is pulling out a page of his journal and handing it to Artemis.
Oh, Artemis is going to be taking the maps with her.
Oh. Yeah, that works
She
too.
appreciates that, though.
I guess Aurelius just now has one less page in his journal.
Pulls out a page, holds it out, stares at her. Oh, right. We can do that.
Oh, right. I'm with a thief.
Aurelius
will
just looking at... Sorry.
Knock something over. Artemis will look over to Vanity. Do any of these places ring a bell with you?
Do any of them look familiar to Vanity?
Yes, actually. One of them is a place that you have, with your retinue, at the very least, had people keeping an eye on, which is Molten Hold.
Vanity will point directly to one of them and point out, Molten Hold actually is on the map. I know them well.
Oh, there you go.
Would you say that Vanity is familiar with a certain person in Molten Hold?
Yes.
Was he tasked in being one of the ones to look after them? Him?
One of. I would say yes.
Then she'll just kind of he'll give a small mumble of, I hope that Gemaral is okay.
He's very easy to worry about.
Well, he is still in Molten Hold last I checked.
Last I checked, he's there too, being incredibly stubborn.
And there is blood around Molten Hold.
One, two, three, four. I need to verify with Paris where her place is so I can make sure that it is properly marked. I believe it is where she is marked there, but I think that might be her home. So I will not mark there until she's back.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 of the places.
Is that the fidget one?
That is the one near to Fidget, yes.
Okay.
Actually, no, there's technically 2. There's one down here as well. I almost forgot.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's one closer.
Yep. It's actually technically right here. It likes to put it in weird places when I paste it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, and then I have to wait for Paris. But 6 of 7 red circled places.
7 deadly sins. Fun. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but like, fun.
Oh, I thought there was one in Denziel.
Right.
Yeah, I thought one of the fidget ones was kind of in Corvin.
In Corvin.
It was near the border.
It's near the border because if I move a
Okay.
red dot into Corvin, it's red. So I put it on the
True.
border of.
Right.
But also when you look at the map person put it as Corvin, so
Okay.
they at the very least think it's in Corvin. And when I say map person, I mean the person who transcribed it, not the person who originally drew the map.
Hmm. If only Aurelius had that that restoration spell where he could just fucking mending, is it?
Mending looks to have helped around the edges, but it doesn't look like it is restored the writings and artwork of it. It's
All right.
It's fixed to the edges of it.
Right. Okay.
Artemis will kind of tilt her head. If I didn't know any better, I'd say we were being stopped.
Maybe our meeting on that carriage was more than just a coincidence.
I do feel that there is more to the story than what I am privy to, and I understand it being between you all.
Oh, these are places that we are from.
Or
And
familiar with in one way or another.
or that we're just intimately involved with. And
But there are only 3 of you.
there are 4.
My lady did not give me that information. I do apologize.
Nothing to forgive. Just a learning experience.
Your lady? Aurelius raises an eyebrow.
Lara Lonis, you thick-headed nincompoop.
Right.
Out of character, I love you, Zark.
Look, at this point, Aurelius is a bit like whoosh, like with that type of stuff. He's like overwhelmed by the stimulus in front of him that he forgot about the reason he's here. Not gonna lie.
Artemis will slowly start rolling up the maps and just like tucking it into her bag. Well, I am not going to jump to the assumption that we are being stalked or have any greater purpose or have any kind of magical destiny in mind. It's just we're probably just hitting these points because of the quest that we're already on outside of your lady.
Besides, we still need to go to Nairobi, and that's not marked.
Hmm. Is there anything else in the room as she is putting away the papers that they have found? Comp.
Gotcha. So you're putting those away.
And if there's anything else in the room.
There's an inkwell, where someone was clearly using that to draw/write these with. Besides that, most of the others look to be copies, just more and more copies of these maps with various other pieces of like maps that are either put over top of them and like smudged together, or are near illegible from the amount of different writings and scratching outs. Like someone who is just smart enough to perform the task of copying them, but not to comprehend them. And based off of how many different styles of writing some of them have, ranging from chicken scratch to passably decent, there's a couple different people who are working on this.
Interesting. Just gonna tuck this stuff away and start peeking out with Serenity to see if there's an next room they can go to.
Okay. Gotcha.
And Paris is back, hun, if you want to ask her.
Can you ping on the map where your order is? So I can drop a little red dot on the map for you.
I thought it's around here. If I remember correctly.
There we go. All 7 dots.
I see 6. Am I high? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the 7th one was waiting on you, Paris.
Maybe.
Yep, and
Yes.
I'm not happening to see things. Am I?
Which one?
How there might be a... Okay, thank God. I'm sitting here like, there's not an epicenter type thing, is there?
the map has been rolled up and put away into Artemis's bag.
And one thing you would have not, I don't think you were here for it, but one of the places on the map was Molten Hold, where Cameral is.
Oh boy. Oh, well, I know where we're going next.
You got a few options. But with the papers put away, you continue deeper in. You still haven't found the source of much anything at the moment, but
Yee.
okay.
Artemis is going to start looking for strings and see if they start pulling in a particular direction.
Make an Arcana check. If there are strings here, they may be incredibly fine, very thin.
Okay. So
God, this text is tiny.
I've drawn a little basketball on the map connecting all 7 locations.
Okay.
The Corriban one was farther down.
It was.
As was the one in Denzio.
It's around here. Okay.
Yeah. On the map, it's marked a little higher in one location, but not in another.
I might need to redraw this entire thing.
Yeah, because if they were in their actual locations on the map, we wouldn't see them. Because the map is focused on Cormundum. Do you think I had a 15?
So, no distinct strings. If there are strings, they are only wisps, like frayed threads.
Wasn't this a magical trap lock thing?
Wasn't this this area that Aurelius was saying that this was a magical trap?
Yeah, wasn't this like a lock that involved doing magic?
No, what Aurelius was saying is that this place wasn't a place of worship initially to Zokdomoy, but rather the people who were originally here were trying to seal her in the abyss.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I got
then-
that.
So, not that this place was magically the trap, but
I'm asking if the lock was made out of magic because that's how some things are sealed.
likely. If it was, it at the very least at the moment does not seem to be here, although that's questionable even so. It's not here really, but this place was either trying to create or had created something to seal her away.
This has some Full Metal Alchemist vibes, just looking at this.
Would it surprise you if I told you that's one of my favorite manga / animes?
Not at all.
Okay. Artemis will peek out, make sure there isn't a thing.
Peeking out and just taking a quick look around. There's the zombie hasn't followed you yet, although you can definitely keep making your way quietly. For the most part, as you guys one by one move on, because this area does appear to be cleared out after a few moments. You head further down, and as you do so, you're keeping quiet, keeping your wits about you. There appears to be a number of different cupboards that have been knocked over and spilled out whatever their contents were years ago. Though there are some that have fallen over on their face and haven't been messed with as far as you can see. This place looks to be a more you'd almost say it looks more and feels more as you're kind of looking around like you're in a the upper rooms of a tavern, where you would see like bedrooms and such, but this looks to be more places where people would bring about, you'd say probably beds, paper, desks. You can actually see a full desk in a corner, but a number of other ones look to have been destroyed by either age, wear and tear, or part of the wall collapsed inward and just destroyed parts of the room.
Just gonna continue down, make a note of it.
Serenity.
Mhm.
You were already looking around. You still doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Looking around as you're kind of moving through this area and whatnot, you do note that there's a you would say it's like almost like a rat hole in one of the cupboards. There seems to be something vaguely metallic in the corner. It's one of the ones that's like
look.
fallen on its face.
Yeah, I'm gonna move to look at that.
You can't see it any clearer by looking at it. It's like it's not flush to the metal to the wood. It's like barely noticeable. You'd have to
No, that's what I was.
You're gonna lift it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you lift it, and the cupboard. As you lift it, one of the cupboard doors just stays on the ground, and you see some contents spill out. Just kind of get up onto its side. You can look down, and you can see that there's a few different odd objects. Some of it looks to be very surprisingly intact clothing, although the make and style of it is different. It's not Cormundum, it's not Danziel, Napa maybe. You can't check with Fidget to verify if it's Corvin, but you're fairly certain it shouldn't be. But it's a very strange bit of clothing. And there's like a small metal disc that just kind of flops down with it.
We'll pick up the disc.
You pick up the disc and just kind of marked with runic etchings across it, although they're tiny. They're like the time it would take to manually make something like this is impressive. It probably have taken someone a long time to make this, but almost looks almost like it was stamped on rather than carved, which is interesting. Can't make out what exactly it does just by looking at it.
Is there anything that I can roll to see if I can figure out what the fuck this might be?
I will say no.
Okay. She'll pull it out and then set the cupboard back down. Adi. She'll hold it out to her.
Artemis will come up, we'll waddle over and take a look.
Waddle.
Waddle, waddle.
Waddle, waddle, waddle.
Waddle, waddle, waddle.
Artemis is very autistic.
Yes.
Yes.
Comp, I'm
So
not
she'll
sure.
come over and take a look at it.
No worries. I imagine you want to identify it. You might just be having a coincidence there, Zark.
Okay. I was like, oh, this would be so cool, and then I'm like,
I mean,
wait, hold
you
on.
could be.
So do you need me to roll something, or?
Nope. You're using identify.
Oh yeah, that's right, I have a spell. Yeah, I will use identify. Let me see if this needs components. It's touch. Oh, it's a pearl worth at least 100 gold pieces and an owl feather. I think I still have that pearl because I never used it. Do I have an owl feather?
An owl feather? I'd imagine you'd have picked one up at
Yes.
some point.
Probably. Yeah, it'll take 1 minute. So she's going to take the thing. And the a very expensive pearl that she got kidnapped about.
Right.
And the owl feather. And kind of start mumbling down at the thing in Elvish. Be very much a, what the fuck are you? Why are you like this? What the fuck are you? And she kind of like flicks the thing that she was just given. Cast the spell.
Okay.
It'll take a minute, so you can go round to someone else while she's doing the thing.
No worries.
If
Are you sure
Vanity or
Huh?
Alias are need to do anything,
Vanity and Aurelius, how do you guys currently feel about the area? This almost
Hold on,
this
I just
domicile
came
underneath of a map room. What was that, Zar?
I literally walked away and just came back.
I was asking how do you and Vanity, Aurelius and Vanity, feel about what almost feels like it's like you've gone from a map room discussing putting away a demon lord to effectively a place that feels like you're walking into the upper rooms of a cavern, like almost a domicile feeling, like it's like a dorm, effectively sleeping area.
Vanity is very much on edge at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and it can't exactly stand still because something about this just feels very off.
Does this feel familiar to Aurelius?
Vaguely, in a keep your home where your work is kind of way. It gives you very, not off-putting, just reminds you of the clerical order where they would have, down the hall there might be a room where someone who would be professing about, hey, this is the study of these teachings and such, and here's the best combat maneuver if you're going to go down the hall to this place to train yourself against creatures that may come up rising against you to destroy you from the abyss, the usual sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That all this is doing is making Aurelius more and more confused, as he is now looking closer at everything he's looking at, trying to figure out anything that's familiar to him. Just he doesn't know anymore.
It's like being...
There's no sense of urgency. There's no sense of overwhelming, like, objective orientedness that he's normally has about him. There's just a slow somberness to his movements and questions. So many questions and no answers. This has got to be one of the first times in a long time that Aurelius is actually fully questioning everything.
You're fine.
Um, are there any like books or papers lying around?
There are some, but most of it looks to have the like there's like books, but like they're emptied. Like someone had taken and ripped out all the pages.
The covers are still there?
Covers are still there, pages ripped out.
Would he be able to at least read the titles?
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm getting you that identify.
Yeah. Just
Some
trying
handouts.
to
Okay.
figure out what these people were reading about, researching, or whatever kind of books they kept. That tells a lot about.
A lot of the books, as far as you can read them and look them over, appear to be books that are kind of like the ones Fidget had. Books that are more adventurous, softer, educational, though at what level may depend on the reader, or may have just been for fun. There's a feeling of desire that you get from this. People who wanted to understand. Being in one of the books, the inner cover, there is someone who had apparently written something that doesn't look like it was destroyed at all. And it says, "Being smart is a chore. I wish to live in the realms of fantasy. Take me away. Take me away." It's not signed. Just a very simple plea. And Vanity,
Even people,
hold on. And Vanity,
even people. Sorry, damn it.
we can't see each other, so we don't know who's going to be talking first. You talk, I talk, you talk. I don't know. I'll speak. Don't worry.
Right.
Vanity, you're feeling uncomfortable, yes?
Vanity is still on BRB.
Sorry.
Yee.
In which case, go ahead, Zark.
Even people from thousands and thousands of years ago were still people with stories. To take them away from this world. These people weren't obsessive, they were people. This was a homely place, a place of study, yes, but not obsessive. What happened here? Who were these people? And how did it lead to kind of looking around the room to this? The world is a stage and life a tragedy, I suppose. I don't know how much longer I can delay.
You're good.
I'm just
Did you get the
You were
identify, by the way, Kendall?
No. What did you send it to me?
It's in handouts.
Where?
Handouts. Do you see the handouts?
Oh, I see image locket, Gadai locations,
top
and
one.
recipes.
Yes, image locket.
Image locket. Ah. Interesting. Into the bag it goes.
With the crumbs and the leftover cheese.
And Artemis will continue moving on, trying to get this job done. Because she doesn't like being down here. Is Serenity going to do anything?
No, she looks.
Uncomfortable.
She's actually following her.
Oh.
She looks like she's thinking.
Ah.
Vanity, it's your turn on the Xbox.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back.
Oh, is Vanity? Is Vision?
I'm back. I'm back.
Welcome back. So,
Did I miss anything?
Aurelius looked around. He noted that the pages of the books that are in this area have been torn out. There is a book that had a little blurb this one had written about wanting to escape reality and just dive into fantasy.
Okay.
You said that you were feeling anxious, kind of a little bit nervous going through here.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As you are feeling that, you kind of keeping your eyes out on things, due to you kind of peeking around and such, you'll probably be one of the first people to catch sight of something that almost looks like it's like stepping out of a room as you see another one of those zombie creatures just kind of step
Vanity
out.
Vanity will do an over-exaggerated clearing of his throat to get everyone's attention.
Really just look
Because I
up.
did come back when Zark was in the middle of philosophizing, so if Aurelius is doing that, this is to cut over him. Just to get everyone's attention.
Serenity's looking up.
We have company.
Oh, beautiful.
Do you want me to distract this time?
When you clear
After you,
okay.
Mike.
Good. When you
Like
clear
after
your
you, because Artie's like,
yeah.
hey, do you want me to distract?
Right.
Go ahead.
As you're like, go ahead. It turned and it's like looking directly at you at the moment. It's not moving, but it's almost like waiting for you to make another sound as it heard you clear your throat. It's not moving towards you.
Serenity's taking her weapon off.
It's like,
Serenity's taking her weapon off her back. She's not trusting that.
Vanity very quietly turns around to everybody and just puts his finger to his lips, like nobody make a noise kind of motion. Before he sees the size of Serenity's weapon and moves out of the way for her.
Does anyone make a noise to draw its attention? As right now it is looking to where Vanity is. I imagine Vanity's moving away slowly, right?
Correct.
Make a stealth check.
Okay. Where to use my inspiration, so
I'm sure
if
it'll
I
be
fail,
fine.
I fail.
Okay, so you begin moving, and you make your way slowly out of the way. One second here. And there's a moment when you step on one of the book covers. You kind of like pull your side in to like be like now. You kind of slowly, because there was a faint scuff sound, but it doesn't appear to have caught the creature's attention. As you move over towards Serenity. Serenity, are you moving towards the creature?
If it looks like it's going to start moving towards us, yes. If not, then no.
It's not moving at the moment. It's like almost like, again, it's having that moment of like its chest opening ever so slightly, as though it's vibrating, as though it's trying to pick out where you are.
Oh, it can see.
Its eyes are filled with fungi, so that makes sense. Although usually you would imagine it having like some kind of blind sense, but this seems to be more definitively requiring sound.
Is there a bit of rubble nearby?
A bit of rubble, yes. There is a bit of rubble.
I'll pick up one of the stones and just chuck it as far away from us as I can.
Okay, so you pick it up, you kind of like look to like probably into one of the rooms, and you just there's a little whoosh as you chuck it into there, as it you see the creature just turn, and there's like this little gasping rasp sound as it like drops to all fours and just runs in towards the room. As you do, everyone, I need you all to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Oh.
No!
Yeah, okay.
Inspiration!
Yeah, okay. Do you remember you have a bonus from Aurelius's Paladin Aura? Up, yeah, that's higher.
Oh, that's right, it's still in that one.
It was still in that one, yeah. And Vanity rolled a 12 plus the aura. That is a success. As the one runs in and made that noise, as it made the noise, you hear the noise repeated as several others from rooms that you didn't know they were in suddenly just seem to just fall onto all fours and just sprint towards it. They all seem
just
to...
imagining.
Yep.
Oh, good.
They all seem to almost instinctively run around you, although they get close. As though seeming to recognize that something is there, but not seeming to acknowledge you as alive.
Just imagining once it's in the clear, Serenity moving to the... Fucking hell, I hate it. I forgot about those things. Serenity just kind of ushering people forward very quietly, going, go, 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 go.
Right. You'll begin making yourselves go down once again into, I believe this is layer 4. Reaching this area, you go down the stairs, and as you're doing so, you note that there's a huge mound of earth, almost like this was where the front door would have been, and when this place sank, the earth was pulled in for a lot of this, meaning that there's a bit of wiggling you guys are going to have to do to get through some of this area.
Artemis is tiny. I bet she can do it.
I imagine you will, yes.
It doesn't mean you should do it. Get back here.
Listen, I am making these choices of my own accord. I know that this is a bad idea, but I am deciding to be stupid.
And just like the good best friend I am, and the good lover I am helping you not make these decisions. Bring your ass back here.
No.
Just scuttles in. No.
I mean, I'm sure with a crowbar, maybe, like, pulling things out of the way might be a bit easier, but...
A shovel would also work.
Yeah.
Yes, but that would also make a shit ton of noise.
Your hands are a good substitute.
Okay.
So imagine you and Serenity probably do a bit more of the slight
Heavy
bit of
lifting.
digging, heavy lifting on that. I imagine that Vanity, is Vanity a larger individual who would struggle getting through it, or are they? Do you think they're flexible enough to slide through?
They are very dexterous. So
In which case,
I think they'd have.
yeah,
They're tall, but they're skinny and flexible.
gotcha. In which case, Vanity, you and Artemis can kind of slip through and get a little bit of head. Not too far. Give them enough time to dig themselves up, but enough to get a quick peek at the other side of this dirt mound. There are a few pictures, you presume, stained glass, that at first you wonder how it is that this wasn't just broken through by the earth, until the stained glass moves. And the bits of metal and the just shift and turn, and the colors shift as well and form a different scene. As you realize this must be a magical stained glass mirror, because that's not usually what that does. That's not how that works. And this just began shifting and moving, and it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, but it's also beyond anything either of you have seen before. As you watch as it shifts from a image of what appears to be what you would presume to be a lighthouse with people standing like arm in arm in several lines, holding their hands up, one hand to the heavens, one hand holding another person's hand. Then it shifts. You can see a crack in the sky. Something coming out. Something dark specks, you would presume. Vrock. Other nasty, vile creatures. Shifts into a large portrait in stained glass of someone with a large shield that is looking to be presenting as a face of protection. Swaps to that same figure, smaller, looking to almost be throwing a lance into the earth, pinning down a dark mass as though it's thrusting it back down. And finally a world where there are 3 lighthouses shown, and that one shielded individual holding up their hand as though to wave to the world. You do note that whenever it shows this warrior's hands, a lot of the rest of the imagery for them looks to be a either gold or with like silver linings and such. His hands, his palms are always completely pitch black.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I've retained none of this. I need to drop for the night.
It's sounding like everyone's having a bit of a day. That's completely understandable. I worked, and I also am feeling a little bit of that. It might just be spring hitting everyone, plus the temperature dropped from like 60 to 29 over here, so it got cold, and I hate the cold. But I'll say we can wrap it up
I'm
there.
sorry.
You're fine, no worries. And I'll make sure that this is posted so we can voice it, and I can try and say that again next week so we can catch you back up. I want to make sure everyone's here and retaining everything. All right? Everyone
Oh,
cool
I'm
with that?
definitely
Please invite me.
retaining that if I think it's what I think it is.
Oh boy. For those who are watching
Okay.
with us, we're trying to do this based off of how everyone's feeling and so forth and whatnot. This early part of the year has just been kind of rough, and we hope that you understand, and we're doing our best, doing our part to make this as enjoyable as we can. We hope that we are, but really we're doing this for our enjoyment. We just like sharing it, and we hope that that is something that we'll all be able to continue to do as we get to have a lot of fun and relax and enjoy our company together. We do post these on my YouTube channel at Uncommon Guru. For those who are watching on YouTube, I do stream these on twitch.tv/WhatTeamComp around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We tend to run 2 to 3 hours, depending on how things go. These have been shorter weeks, but they are still good weeks to have. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and until next time, we are WhatTeamComp. See you all later. Bye-bye!